Hello, everyone. My presentation is called Zabbix Agent Emulator for AS400. Before, briefly agenda, 2 words about me, about how this project was created. How we tried to find solution for our problem, and how what solution was invented in result. And some screenshot at the end, what we have now at the moment. Now, about me. My name Constantin Oshmyan. I started working in IT area about 25 years ago as a C programmer. Then several years worked as a networking engineer. Took part in very interesting project as a Java programmer 15 years ago. And last years I am working as system analyst in Rietumu Banka. Rietumu Banka is a Latvian bank, one of the biggest and most successful Latvian bank. Latvian bank, I mean not only bank that working in Latvia, I mean also that it is not a branch of some foreign bank. It is a really Latvian bank. Just opposite, we have now some branches in other countries also. Banking infrastructure has complex structure. We have a lot of technique with different operating systems. Windows, Unix, Solaris, IX, some time ago we have HPUX, Linux now, Windows of course, and OS 400. OS 400 is a specific enough system used mostly in banking sphere, and we have it also. And one of my responsibility in bank was and is currently is monitoring system. Initially, we have monitoring system by IBM Tivoli monitoring, and that system was selected mainly due to it was the only monitoring system that was able to monitor AS400 systems. But several years ago, we started migration to Zabbix. And I was involved in this process also. Why to Zabbix? Well, first reason is price, of course, and simplicity. Unlike the previous monitoring system, it has integrated out of the box possibility to build graphics, charts, and what, like our bosses, is SLA, IT services. And another very important criteria is local and very friendly technical support. Few words about AS400 system. It is very specific. It has their own specific architecture, API, file system, and so on and so on. Initially, AS400 was the name of this architecture, but it is not absolutely correct at this time. At this time, hardware platform is called IBM Power Systems, but still AS400 is the common name that is used for this platform. If you like to find something on forums, on search systems, it is better to use the previous common name AS400. The same about operating system. The current name is IBM I, but the most common former name is OS400. What parameters we monitored before migration and what we will need to monitor by Zabbix? Here are listed some of them. First of them is ASP used. ASP is auxiliary storage pool. It is something rough, similar like logical disk, like on Windows operating system, for example, you have drive C, drive D, and etc. In AS400, you have ASP. ASP number 1 is a system ASP that is always exist, but there could be another ASPs, for example, in clustered configuration. And of course, we need to monitor their usage, their if enough space, and so on. Disk unit states, it is something like physical disks. Jobs. Jobs are some jobs are critical. They must exist during working time. If they absent, it is something happens, and we of course should know about the problem. Some jobs can sometimes consume a lot of CPU usage. Some jobs can stay into some unusual state, for example, lock wait state, when some job is waiting for some resource. If the job exists in this state, a lot of time, it does mean that some problem exists. Subsystems. Subsystems are some configuration that unites a number of jobs. We must know that some subsystem exists, that some subsystems has specific number of jobs. If not, it is problem could be. And spooled files and message queues. The most interesting is message queues. Message queue is something like Windows event log, maybe. some jobs can write specific information into message queue, especially if something wrong happens. And accordingly, we need to know about that. But how to monitor this specific platform in Zabbix? Maybe there is some standard agent Zabbix for this. Unfortunately, no. Zabbix agents are for POSIX only platform, but IS400 is not POSIX. It has, however, POSIX Subsystem, PASE, Portable Application Solution Environment. It is some operating system inside operating system. It is subsystem into AS400, and it allows to run some of usual Unix, Linux applications like Shell, Perl, and some other. But it also even binary compatible with AX executables. For example, we can get Zabbix sender utility from Zabbix agent for AX, and it can run in this POSIX subsystem. But unfortunately, programs that run in this subsystem are limited only possibilities of this subsystem. They cannot have access into some entire operating system. And it's impossible to have access to some OS-specific metrics like subsystems, message queues, and other that we need. Maybe we can use snmp. We tried it, have some success. Using snmp, we can obtain some metrics that are useful and that are reliable, like system ASP, network interfaces, and some other. But unfortunately, snmp functionality is very restricted. First of all, it is snmp version 1. It was snmp version 1. In the last version of operating system, if you install all patches, all updates, all current fixes, it will update it to snmp version 3. But anyway, it's very limited, for example, in configuration, and it has very limited number of metrics that are available. Some metrics are unreliable, for example, about CPU utilization, about clustered ASPs, we have very strange results. On inactive node of cluster, it could display some garbage or some very unusual results. Maybe we can use some complex solutions, some metric get using snmp, but some using Zabbix sender that is running in POSIX subsystem, and some metric using some scripts that run externally. For example, if we install a client for this system, it contains the utility bping that has functionality to check connectivity to this system. It is possible, but it is difficult to maintain, and in any way it is an incomplete solution. First of all, we have no possibility to monitor message queues. So if we have no ready solution, we can try to build some solution ourselves. What we need? Maybe there is some API for AS400. We found the very interesting project, IBM Toolbox for Java. It is a Java library that allows us to access some objects located inside the AS400 system. After evaluating this library, we found that yes, it is possible to take a job, some systems, and message queues. Let's try. Is it really works? Yeah, okay. We try, and we really obtain some information about message queues. We was sure that it is possible, it is working. And using Java and using this API, we can obtain messages, and we can obtain some metadata for these messages, like listed here. So the next question was how to transmit this data to Zabbix. Unfortunately, Zabbix sender, for example, could not transmit any metadata to Zabbix server besides the timestamps. For example, severity level or message ID, it's impossible to transmit. But for example, Zabbix agent for Windows can transmit this information when it monitors the Windows event logs. So some mechanisms does exist. So idea was appeared. If we build a program that from one side will communicate to AS400 system using this API, and for other side will communicate to Zabbix server using Zabbix agent API, is it possible to transmit what we need? Something like that. So that Zabbix server think that this program is usual Zabbix agent, and this program emulate Zabbix agent behavior and support protocol. The first thing was to write some specification what we want. And then another thing was appeared, let's try. Let's build such program, such small program as a proof of concept. And we write specification that our program should support some metrics, some standard agent metrics. This program should support Zabbix agent protocol for active mode to transmit metadata. And this program should support some additional, maybe, metrics that need for us. At the same time, if it is Java, we can use some Java specific, for example, Java threads, Java data structures. And as a maximum, it should support all maybe metrics that the standard Java agents support, as far as these metrics have sense for these platforms. As this is a separate program, it could run in two different modes. It can run on the same system as AS400, as AS400 has Java embedded in it, and it has run on some another system, so that we don't need to make any modification into this specific system. We have protocol specifications that describe it. We have open source currently Zabbix agent, so that we can investigate how it works and how it coded. We need minimum dependencies. We need, of course, library that support communication to AS400, and another dependencies is teeny library for JSON parsing. So what we got in result, how it looks. If we look at monitoring latest data, we can see it as a usual agent. We can see that agent ping is up, agent name, version, some other parameters. What has been implemented if some metric could not be retrieved, we return an original error message. For example, in this case, below is part of Java of this program log file, and we can see that if we had some errors, in this case, there is no such object. There is no subsystem with this name in this specific library. Then we just transmit it as a message, an error message. we can see ASP status, all statistics. This slide is interesting as this ASP is a clustered and it is inactive node of cluster, so that the only parameter that is reliable in this configuration is ASP status very off. It does mean that the object does exist, but it detached at the moment. So all other parameters are unreliable. We have disk unit statistics, and this screenshot is very interesting that it displays a real error, disk error. Hardware failure, so that it is really work. And some statistics about, some information about message queues and output queues, all that we were needed about. CPU usage statistics. It like log file look about, just similar to standard Java agent. So unfortunately we have no time about. I wanted to say a bit more about troubles and some unexpected problems. But what I can also, this project now published at share.zabbix.com. It is free. It has BSD-like license, so that you can do everything that you want with the sources. Templates also published for on share.com, and there were and there is a very useful discussion on Zabbix forum. Thanks to all. Thanks my colleague Ernest Daugstadt, who consulted me about IS400 architecture. Thanks to my son Oleg, who reminded me what is Java. And thanks to all people on forum who discussed it, and to Java development team and Java support team who also helped me very much. Questions?
Questions on Slido, please.
Yes, thank you. So due to the lack of time, we will ask only the one question from Slido. And the most popular thing, what users want to know, is how you monitor the Java agent. Do you use Zabbix JMX for it?
No, we use the standard metric java.ping that can be used in active mode and in passive mode. And there is another metric that can return a result if does exist communication between agent and IS400 system. Together, we have enough information.
Thank you. Maybe one last question from audience. Okay. So if we don't have any more questions, then Constantin, thank you once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.